Hi, I'm Stephen Boswell, Chief Operating Officer at the Oxley Institute, and today I'm here with Matt Oxley to talk about one of his recent articles called The Demise of the Sales Assistant. Now, pretty harsh title, Matt, right? The Demise of the Sales Assistant. We got a few comments back based on the title, but when you read the article, a point well made and nothing to do with what we heard from one person, the sales assistant being phased out by the robo sales assistant. Is that what's coming next?
It's everybody gets defensive about these, but yeah, this is a pet peeve of mine because, sales assistants are long gone. We need support personnel. Here's an advisor asking me at one of my speeches. He says, how do elite advisors best use their sales assistants? And then he goes on to say, well, I know they probably have more help than they really need. And he opened up a can of worms, which led to me sales assistants. So if he's still thinking of his support personnel as sales assistants, sort of like when you call up a branch and they say, oh no, your advisor's in a sales meeting right now. And nobody wants a salesperson. I mean, if you look at the affluent, our research says, the three pet peeves: they don't like politicians, they don't like the excessive taxes they pay, and they don't like sales assistants.
Right, and it's a point well made about the term sales. We should remove that from the vocabulary. But it's also, the article hit at a larger point, which is the role of that person has changed.
Oh, dramatically changed. I mean, this industry is great for changing labels on cards. 20 some odd years ago, they went to financial consultant, then they went to financial advisor. Everybody's still doing the same activities. And now they're doing the same thing with sales assistants or client associates, relationship managers, etc. Now, the best teams, as you well know, because you met with about 40 or 50 of them last year, these elite teams that we've researched, they use them very well. I mean, they are true knowledge workers, isn't that right?
That's right. And what you find, I traveled across the country by way of a little bit of background, consulting with some of the top teams in the industry, and invariably, they spoke very highly of their support personnel. They had worked to groom them upmarket, if you'd like to call it that, basically meaning they're starting to take on some planning tasks, some client service tasks that formerly were reserved only for the advisor.
And I bet you they didn't call themselves sales assistants.
No,
and I bet you these elite advisors, these teams weren't saying, hey, talk to my sales assistant. No, she's my financial planner. He's handling my social media. We have a relationship manager over here.
Right, a team of specialists is the trend.
Exactly. And it's interesting. So just the other day, I had a client relationship manager come to me at one of our workshops, and she was very, very sincere. She says, I know what I do. I'm really indispensable to this team, but a client relationship manager is sort of an internal term. And when people ask me in my spheres of influence, what do? I feel kind of really awkward saying I'm a client relationship manager. What should I say? And my response was say simply, well, who's the name of your broker? Oh, John Schwartz? I work with John Schwartz, and we just oversee the finances for some families in the area. You should have seen the smile on her face. Huh. That makes sense.
So that's a good answer.
So at the end of the day, the support personnel, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, I mean, they need to be an integral component for an advisor's ability to be able to communicate, demonstrate, and quantify value to their clientele.
You bet. And everybody on the team should be doing what they do best. And that's not a hokey management consulting phrase. It's the reality. If you've got an advisor on the team who has shown the ability to go out and find new clients, or to schmooze their top relationships or their COIs, that advisor ought to be doing that all day long. And if the other task can be then delegated,
right,
you've got a really functional unit.
And at the end of the day, the demise of the sales assistant is no different than the demise of the broker.
Right.
They're true financial advisors. So our message here is invest in your support personnel, delegate to your support personnel, train your support personnel, work with them. They're an integral component to being able to service properly your affluent clientele. Now, if you'd like to apply what you've just learned, you might consider our coaching. It'll help you raise your game.
You've got to ask yourself, how much new business would it take to pay for the cost of coaching? One client? Maybe two? We can help you do that.